Namaste, good morning. A session where we wind up assessment of trust and progress forward. Yesterday, I did a small mistake while doing question number 17. While doing question number 17, the surcharge is as like individuals. Okay, the surcharge is also 10%, 15%, 25%, 37% for even AJI. These entities falls under this category called artificial juristic persons. Okay, so the surcharge which I charged 12% is wrong. It is 15%, friends. It is 15%. Okay, so the answer will be 4725. Question number 17. The answer will be 4725 845. May I know the answer for question number 22? போடலையா பழனியப்பன் நினைச்சேன். How many of you have completed? Can you quickly complete? 2-3 minutes only. Can you quickly complete? Please quickly complete. Antonio answer சொல்லுவான் பாரு இப்போ கரெக்டா. என்னடா ராஜா? Tax எவ்வளவு வருது? Tax எவ்வளவு வருது? Okay, others please do. Others do. Please do, please do. ஸ்ரீராம் உனக்கு என்ன நேத்தி? ஏதோ ஏன் பண்ணலன்னா ஏன்? Receipt from hospital, from college. Corpus donation, it is assumed that it is kept deposited. Corpus donation can be in cash. No, but they said that corpus donation should not be in cash. Only you should not pay in cash. Anyhow, the receiver cannot claim ATG if he is going to give it in cash. We all know that. Anonymous donation, let's look at it. As I told you, this inadequate consideration provisions or this gift provisions are not applicable for charitable institutions. So our gross receipts is 580. Our gross receipts is 580 set apart, and amount to be utilized 493. Admin expenses 320. There is nothing called accrual basis because it has been considered that the trust is accounting on cash basis, hence it will not be treated as income at all in the first place. Depreciation cannot be claimed on assets which are claimed as utilization. land and building cost, donation to another trust. Okay, that other trust need not carry on the same activity. Okay, it should be a registered trust. That's what we said. So 28 lakhs. Total donation is 45 lakhs. On that, the anonymous donation, which is taxable at normal rates, is 225. Taxable under 115 BBC is 775. Let's move on. Money Foundations, a charitable trust registered under 12AA, runs a school for primary and secondary education. The following particulars: gross receipts, voluntary contribution including anonymous donation, government grants, donation towards corpus to a trust registered under 1023C, amount applied for the purpose of school, including a sum of 5 lakhs, being the amount spent for the benefit of the founder of the trust. The trust set apart 55 lakhs for building for a building to expand the school, but the amount was paid in December when the sale deed was registered, even if it is December 22 allowed. Excess of expenditure over income, you cannot claim it. Compute the total income in order to avail maximum benefit. Suppose if the grant is for an asset, reduce the grant in the utilization. In the utilization, reduce the grant value and show the asset utilized value. Or you can show it here and show it in utilization. But normally we will reduce it from the asset value. That's how ICDS says. Cannot donate to another trust, saying that it will form part of corpus. Only 385 lakhs can be taken. Trustees cannot enjoy any salaries or any other benefit. இல்லை included இதுல கொடுக்கலையே. சொல்றா ராஜா. மைனஸ் தான்டா ராஜா பண்றேன். Yeah, I'm reducing it. சொல்றா ராஜா. இருக்குடா ராஜா. So what? You have to spend. Current year spend பண்ணாலும் allowed. Yesterday we saw computers purchased, the lab purchased, lab constructed. Even if it is December 22, it's allowed. Okay, if you set apart for a capital activity, it is allowed. Not tax, only income. ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம். Mahan Charitable Trust is running an educational institution with hostel facility for the orphan children, registered under 12AA. Voluntary contribution received 150 lakhs, including corpus donation of 20 lakhs. Out of this, 15 lakhs is only kept deposited, and balance was used for general expenses. So this 5 lakhs will be treated as income. This 5 lakhs will be treated as income. If in suppose in the subsequent years they they go back to the original and transfer it, then in that year it will be treated as utilization. Donation of 20 lakhs from Mr. Michael, a foreign donor, which was received on 31/3/22. Impracticable to apply. Foreign donor should not confuse you. Donate, I cannot spend outside India. I can receive from outside India. Salary, other general expenses include payment to grocery by cross the check, land belonging to the trust in a nearby village which was purchased for rupees 5 lakhs was sold for 10.5, and another land adjacent to the trust premises was purchased for 12 lakhs to be used as play. Okay, I'll do this. The trust has accumulated 30 lakhs in the financial year 17-18 for construction of school building. Amount spent 27 lakh. The project is completed without savings in project cost, which will become income. Two additional rooms measuring 1,500 square feet was constructed for the existing hostel. Cost of construction. It made a corpus donation. Compute the, okay, in this question, capital gains will not be a problem, but as soon as this question is over, I'll take up capital gains. Simple one. Hmm? Raja, எப்படி இவ்வளவு புட்சாலியா இருக்கேன்னு பார்க்கலாம். 20 lakhs, right? I'll do capital gains. Once you complete this as it is, keep it. I'll do capital gains. Yeah, I'll do. I understand. That is also an income. I'm waiting to do capital gains. This is expenditure. All of us, let's understand later. I'll also theoretically make you clear capital gains. Okay, capital gains. Full value of consideration, which becomes the net consideration also. There is no expenses provided. Uh, a land belonging to the trust nearby village purchased in 1415 for 5 lakhs was sold for 10 lakh 50,000 less ICOA 5 lakhs into 317. Can somebody see 1415 and tell me? In the material one it will be there. 1415 CII of 1415. Somebody, one of them can.
240, sir.
Hello?
240.
240. Thank you. 240. Okay. Gross LTCG 3 lakh 89,583. Gross LTCG 389. I will do it later, the explanation part. Has the entire net consideration been reinvested? Has the entire net consideration been reinvested? Net consideration is 10 lakh 50,000. Has it been reinvested? Okay. So the entire capital gain is exempt. I'll go to the theory little later. Entire capital gain is okay. Since the whole of the net consideration is reinvested, whole of the capital gain is exempt. So exempt is this taxable LTCG. No, 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 no. You should show the calculation. Okay, okay. I'll go to a capital gains after this question. Now, please understand, all of us, please understand, what is the new amount invested uh, extra? Correct. That's what I'm also coming to. 12 lakhs is the cost of the land that is newly invested. 10 lakh 50,000 is what I got it as consideration. Remaining 150 utilization. ஒரு லாஜிக்கலா உங்களுக்கு I'll make you understand. When I purchased this land for 5 lakhs, I would have claimed the utilization. The remaining 550, I have claimed it as exemption, though it is indexed. Over and above that, if I invest anything, I am investing from my income. From the sale of asset, I got only 1050. Okay, so purchase of new asset using income. Difference between purchase value and uh, sale consideration. So 12 lakhs minus 10 lakh 50,000, 150 is used.
Sir,
சொல்லுங்க.
if they have some legal expenses for transfer, can we claim that as an application also,
No,
sir?
no, no, no. It will be claimed under here full value of consideration less cost of transfer.
So we have to take only the net consideration, sir,
Net
purchase of new asset.
consideration should only be taken. Yes, you are right, Sudha.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Only the income 8,55,000. Please remember one sure short question. One sure short question, or sometimes more than one also, whichever exam you are writing. Okay, with so many amendments, and one more amendment we are going to come and see now. So possibility of a even 10 mark 12 mark question is there, so please remember. Shall we move on? Shall we move on? ராஜா இல்லடா ராஜா மறந்துட்டேன். Capital gains. The mode of computation is similar to whatever we have been doing under capital gains chapter, where the whole of the net consideration is reinvested, whole of the capital gain is exempt. Here, where only part of the net consideration is reinvested, exemption is amount reinvested minus cost of old asset, because cost of old asset you have already claimed as utilization in some year. So amount reinvested minus cost of old asset will only be taken. Okay, this is the formula. Okay, suppose if my okay, suppose if my net consideration is 20 lakhs, cost of old asset, okay, is, let me take it as 5 lakhs, okay, whereas the ICOA, okay, ICOA, for example, comes to 8 lakhs. Okay, so my gross LTCG will be 12 lakhs. Suppose if trust invest 20 lakhs, then the whole 12 lakhs is exempt. Then the whole 12 lakhs is exempt. Suppose trust invest only 10 lakhs. 6 lakhs exempt போட்டுறக்கூடாது. Proportionate இல்ல. 54F இல்ல இது. Okay. Then exemption will be cost of new asset minus cost of old asset. Okay, that is amount reinvested, that is in this case 10 lakhs minus this 5 lakhs. Okay, so exemption will be 10 lakhs minus 5 lakhs minus 5 lakhs. So the remaining 7 lakhs will be taxable. So it will go on like this. That is, if you invest the net consideration, fine. If you invest lesser, the exemption will be cost of new asset minus cost of old asset. It's like utilization. 10 in the 5 lakhs, some year you have claimed, remaining 5 lakhs you claim it. You are claiming it against capital gains. Yeah, remaining 7 lakhs is taxable capital gains. Am I clear to you? Okay. So income computation for capital gains and for the trust is what we have worked out. Moving on to registration. A massive change took place in Finance Act 2020 by incorporating Section 12AB. But because of COVID, the whole 2021, we were unable to implement it. So the implementation was shifted to 1421. That's why it becomes an amendment to you. It is an amendment originally in the Finance Act 2020, but due to reasons of unable to be implemented, we are implementing it in the financial year 21-22. What is the difference between 1023C and 12 and 11 and 12? Approval and registration. So here it is registration which is mandatory. What is the change? Digital. Now there is a digital registration process. No more we are going towards physical filing, digitalized. And a new concept called provisional registration was introduced. Previously, it was complete registration. Now there is a concept called provisional registration which is introduced. Okay. Two sections were guiding, 12AC and 12AB. There are trusts which are there for 50 years, 30 years, 75 years. Registration certificate தொலைஞ்சு போயிடுது. I'm not joking. Really, நீங்க பார்த்திருக்கலாம். They would have lost the registration certificate itself. So there was a repeated tapping of the door that can we do something to make everything come under. So they said all trusts which are even registered now have to re-register. Okay, we'll cancel everything till yesterday. Innilen fresh. Okay, so they are asking to re-register. Okay, and they simplified those process re-registration. And remember, trust nale form number 10. Okay, trust means form number 10. I have put the material on the group, but anyhow, this is theory, you can just listen. Previously, it was 12A, 12AA. Now everything gone because I'm starting fresh. Okay, 12A subsection 1 clause AC and 12AB has been incorporated to deal with registration. Finance Act 20 has made the change but becomes operative only from financial year 21-22. That's why it's important for you. Okay, it's for digitalization, filing of application online, validity for a fixed period of time. This is going to be the biggest problem. Previously, once registered till it is revoked, it was there. Now it is not there. Provisional registration and time limit. Okay, re-register. Okay, I have not gone by clause 1, 2, 3 and all. I have gone by a chronological order of events. Re-registration for the existing trust. For all trust which are existing, already existing trust. You might have completed 100 years, 50 years, 30 years, even 1 year. 2019 la தான் ஆரம்பிச்சிருப்பேன். I got the registration. You also have to re-register. There is no option. You are also re-registering. Okay. Within 3 months, this time limit is now not there. இப்போ டிசம்பர் வரைக்குமா, டிசம்பர் வரைக்கும் இப்போ எக்ஸ்டெண்டட் இது. ஸோ இந்த 3 monthsன்றது எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் பண்ணியாச்சு. They have to reapply in form number 10. Commissioner, when they have to pass the order needs to be passed by the department within 3 months from the end of the month in which application is made. And the registration is valid for 5 years. Okay, registration is valid from the assessment year for which I originally created. Not that all things are gone, you can still claim it. Okay, so this is for all trust which are re-registering, already existing. இப்போ ஒரு புது trust ஒன்னு form பண்றோம். Please understand, I will tell you the procedure. New trust is formed. You want to claim exemption. First, provisionally apply. Why provisionally? Immediate கொடுத்துருவாங்க. I will not look into documents. Okay, I immediately give. Later, get a final registration, provisional registration, final registration, and renewal. After 5 years, you need to renew. Provisional, final, and renewal. Those are all the 3 processes which we are going to see now. That's why I am not going clause wise. I am going if a new trust is started. Provisional registration for first time applicants. For a new trust, this is applicable. Provisional registration. You can apply any time for provisional registration in form 10A. Okay, and within 1 month I will grant, and it is valid only for 3 years. Okay, right. Okay. This is provisional, newly introduced into the law. Till 12A, 12AA, there is nothing called provisional. They took 6 months for communicating. Now, within 1 month, they give you provisional. Then comes, after you get the provisional registration, இப்போ companies there is a concept called certificate of incorporation, which is what is provisional registration is, and then there is a concept called certificate of commencement of business. That is known as final registration. When should final registration be made? I have granted you provisional registration. அப்ப நான் எந்த டாக்குமெண்ட்டும் பார்க்க மாட்டேன். As a commissioner, I will not have gone scrutinized your documents, etc. Now I am going for your scrutiny before giving final registration. First, when should you apply for final registration? Understand? Within 6 months from the date of commencement of your commercial activity, within 6 months from the date of commencement of your commercial activity, apply for final registration. What is, sir, you want to build a school, start a school. இப்போதைக்கு I am constructing the building only. You get a provisional registration. Start getting donation, construct the school. Once the school gets, once you are going to start the admission, once you are going to start to receive fees, within 6 months, apply for final registration. You are claiming exemption. What is the provisional? What is the provisional registration time limit? அவ்வளவுதான் time உனக்கு. Okay? I'm taking up Venkatesh doubt and making it louder. Within 6 months. Sir, school construction itself taking 4 years. Again, COVID problem or some other problem, I'm not getting donation. I'm taking a longer time. Or 6 months before completion of 3 years. Apply for final registration. Please understand. Apply for final registration within 6 months from the commencement of your business, commercial activity, or within 6 months before the end of 3 years, provisional registration period, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. Okay, final registration. At least 6 months prior to the expiry of provisional registration or within 6 months from the activity commencement, whichever is earlier. Two and a half years, or once your activity begins within 6 months. Okay, within 6 months from the end of the month in which application is made, you will be granted provisional. Valid for 5 years. Registration is valid from the financial year in which you have made the application. Sir, you made the application in March. I will grant it for 21-22 also. But the time limit available to the commissioner is 6 months. Renewal, that is every 5 years it has to be renewed. At least 6 months before the expiry of 5 years, you have to get the renewal, and within 6 months they will communicate, again valid for 5 years. Every 5 years renew. Okay, so friends, existing trust, new trust, provisional, final, both existing and new trust has to renew every 5 years. Suppose you modify the object of the trust. So far I was only an educational trust. Now I want to become a medical trust also. Or so far I was only a medical trust. Now I want to carry on relief for poor. Or I want to carry on a yoga or some other advancement. Adoption of new or modification of object. உங்க ரெசல்யூஷன் பாஸ் பண்ணோம் ட்ரஸ்ட்ல within 30 days of the adoption file, and I will take within 6 months to grant you. Okay, right? Last is revival or of, sorry, not or, it should be of. Okay, I will change it in the material. Revival of inoperative trust. Okay, there is a inoperative trust which I am now again reviving. Okay, at least 6 months prior to the commencement of assessment year in the said exemption, within 6 months, valid for 5 years. So everywhere 6 months, except the first two cases, already existing cases within 3 months, other provisional registration within 1 month. Okay, why they are taking 6 months? Because at that time scrutiny takes place. Provisional registration, no scrutiny. Final registration, they scrutinize. What is that they are scrutinizing? They can call for documents, they can call for audit reports, they can call for other informations from you and scrutinize. The law was amended in 2019 itself. The major amendment is you have complied with the income tax law, 85% utilized. No benefit was passed on to the trustees or relatives of trustees, etc. You have been properly functioning to claim exemption. But you have violated some other law, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, or any other law you have violated. Income tax law cannot cancel the registration. Previously, in 2019, they have brought in this amendment, and now what are all the things? Provisional registration will be granted without any inquiry. Without. At the time of presenting for final registration, the commissioner or principal commissioner shall get satisfied about the genuineness of activities, compliance with other laws that are material for the achieving the object of the trust. They are now ensuring that you are also complying the other laws or you have not violated any other law. Okay, shall call for records and such information. Where he is not satisfied, he can reject the application. Okay, and you have to give an opportunity to the assessee to represent why they are rejecting. Okay, you are running the trust. At that time, you are violating the other law. Another law has sent you a notice that you have not complied with it. உடனே நான் cancel பண்ண முடியுமா? No. இல்ல. You should not have gone on an appeal. FCRA has sent a notice to the trust saying that you have violated the foreign contribution norms. Notice based பண்ணிலாம் பண்ண முடியாது. You should have been proved, or you should not have gone on an appeal, which means you are accepting. In that case only, they can cancel the registration. கூடாது. போயிருந்தா ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனை கேன்சல் பண்ண முடியாது. போகலைனா ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனை கேன்சல் பண்ணலாம். You should not have gone for an appeal. Where a trust or institution is granted, if the commissioner or principal commissioner is satisfied that the activities are not carried on in a genuine way, or not carried on with the object, then he can he can cancel the registration. Okay, where a trust is granted registration, but it is identified that they are going for private aspects, that the funds are not invested properly, that it is benefiting the individuals who are holding. Okay, and this is the major, has not complied with any other law, and the order or direction or degree by whatever name called holding such non-compliance has either not been disputed or attained finality. You should not have disputed. If you have disputed, still your thing holds. Okay, that is the amendment. Maybe a question, straightforward it will be because no case laws, nothing, it's an amended provision. I have got the registration this year, but there are some assessments of last year's pending. Can I ask the assessing officer to apply for those years? Okay, in APA, advanced pricing arrangement, when we do the transfer pricing, there is a concept called rollback. இப்பதான் I got the registration. Can I apply it for past years? The answer is yes. Provided in those years also the object is the same and the assessing officer has not opened the case because of you are not registered. Okay, objects are the same, reassessment not initiated due to non-registration, registration was not already denied, then okay, why to waste time? Then that is modification. Same object, educational institution. This year I got the registration of 12 AB registration. Last year case is pending, sir. Look at this. I was also carrying on the same activity. Previously, I did not apply and you did not reject. So please grant me, they'll grant. Huh? Once more? They will not. That's all right. It should be same. Other administrative provision, mandatory audit, we all know. That's why we are studying CA. Okay. And mandatory filing of returns. Unless you file your return, you cannot claim the exemption. You cannot claim the deemed utilization, etc. When will there will be denial of exemption? The same reason. That's why there I did not take it up very greatly. If it is a private religious trust, income of a charitable trust existing for a particular community is not allowed, religion or community. However, if it is for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward class, women and children, it is allowed. Okay, section of public is also public. Income of trust for existing for any specified person. The benefit is provided to any specified person and funds are not invested in 11.5 modes, then you will be denying the exemption. What is that specified person? Okay, who is that specified person? Author or founder, substantial contributor, substantial interest holder, contributor who makes 50,000 plus, then means he can dictate. Okay, if the author or founder is a HUF, then members of HUF, relatives, etc. Okay, the following transaction should not be there with the specified person. Loan without adequate security, allowing use of property without adequate rent, fair market value, excess payment for services, 40A2, inadequate consideration for services, that is the reverse. This is you are paying, this you are receiving, but receiving lesser. Diversion of income exceeding 1,000. Investment in sister concerns should not be there. Okay. Okay. These are there already existing in the law, small provisions only. Okay. Exemption cannot be denied just because you are a medical trust and the trustees is also getting treated there. Just because you are a school and the trustees' children are. Only thing is, whatever is the fair market value should be taken as income. Related party transaction. Here I have written the taxation of charitable trust and taxation at MMR if anything is done for the benefit of these people who we saw. Okay. Okay. For a long time. Long time means 3 years back only with the provision came, 3-4 years back. Till that some. I denied exemption. What happens? The law was silent. The trust is wound up. What happens? The trust merged. What happens? We're all pending for a long time. Then the law came up with a new section, section 115 TD. Louder? Charging section. That is popularly known as exit tax. Exit tax. What are all the circumstances in which exit tax becomes payable? Once more. The trust is wound up. One minute. You distribute the asset to another trust, fine. The law says exit tax becomes payable if the trust is wound up and the asset is not distributed to another trust within 12 months. Second, when the trust merges with another unregistered trust, with another registered trust, fine, because provisions will be the same. Third, if the registration is cancelled due to any of your default, then exit tax becomes payable. What is this exit tax? Slowly let's understand and then read the theory. What is this exit tax? Sir, now so far, every year I gave you 15% accumulation. I was not at all taxing your corpus donation. The tax purpose. Exit tax is tax on net worth. What is net worth? Asset minus liabilities. Fair market value of your asset side minus any liabilities pertaining to that will be taxable, because you would have transferred all these things to balance sheet. That 15%, that corpus donation, everything is there in the balance sheet. Okay. You have a land and building. You now say, sir, this land and building I purchased before you granted me registration, which means I have paid tax for this. Okay, I will take it out. One income which can never be taxed. Beautiful. Any asset purchased using agricultural income, you cannot tax. On the remaining, exit tax becomes payable. Section 115 TD. I'll answer the questions along with exit tax. Chapter 12EB of income tax law. The chapter அப்படின்றது can also have single section. I have always told you it can also have single section. Okay. These provisions are applicable when a trust is wound up or dissolved and the assets is not distributed within 12 months from the end of the month of dissolution. If you distribute, fine. When a trust is merging with any other charitable trust, when there is the conversion of non-charitable to, now that is your exemption is denied, the registration granted has been cancelled. In all these cases, these two are together only, conversion or deemed conversion. Both are same. Okay. The law uses the term accreted income, that is accumulated income. 15% set apart, corpus donation, these are accumulated income. Fair market value on the specified date. Let us understand what is specified date. Less liability. Asset should not include asset acquired out of agriculture income, asset acquired before grant of registration, and asset transferred within 12 months, obviously. Okay, so another trust. Rate of taxation. இங்க தான் நான் நேற்று கன்ஃபியூஸ் ஆயிட்டேன். 34 இங்க 12% போடுறாங்க. 30 plus 12% plus 4%. But they use the word maximum marginal rate, which is wrong. Maximum marginal is 42.744. But the law, but 115 TD gives the rate. So they have given it as 34.944%. This is additional income tax. That is, apart from the normal income tax, this is payable. Correct? Have we studied additional income tax? The word ends elsewhere. Additional income tax. You only asked me the doubt also. That's why what is meant by additional income tax? Venkatesh asked me, I explained. Apart from the normal tax, this is payable. Even though you don't have income, this is payable. Not a problem. Buyback of shares. 115Q. Even though you don't have income, even though you don't have income tax, you have to pay additional income tax. Okay? Okay? Additional. This is popularly known as additional income tax. Okay? Next time I'll ask you is secondary adjustment அப்படின்னு transfer pricing ல ஒன்னு படிப்போம். அப்ப I will ask you, have we studied additional income tax? அப்ப ரெண்டு சொல்லணும் நீ. Okay? Right? So, this is additional income tax. What is that? Specified date where trust is wound up or dissolved and it is not distributed within 12 months, date of dissolution. Date of dissolution, date of merger, date of conversion or date of modification. Same words one day I have repeated. You can read it and see. The trust is past the resolution that no more we are carrying on this trust. Yeah. No. Okay. Time limit, same like 115Q. 14 days, otherwise pay 1% interest. Same, until 14 days. Okay. Same, within 14 days, within 12 months, date of merger, the 14 days between the date of cancellation. Exit tax paid is final tax. Okay. Deduction cannot be claimed. Where there is delay, interest at the rate of 1% becomes payable. Okay. Now the most important part. How to compute accreted income, accumulated income. Hence, for assets acquired out of agricultural income, it is not at all an asset, not applicable. Asset acquired before grant of registration, not applicable. Land or building, fair market value or stamp value, whichever is higher. FMV or stamp value, whichever is higher. Other assets, fair market value. Quoted shares, okay? Quoted shares, average of lowest on highest on the last trading day, either today, that is the specified date. Suppose if there is no specified date trading, in the last trading date. Okay. Unquoted shares, அந்த கம்பெனியோட net worth divided by total number of shares into shares held. Okay. And the other company's net worth, okay, book value of assets of that company plus fair market value of shares and securities minus liabilities divided by total number of shares into shares held. Okay. Okay. Assets in the nature of advance tax, இதெல்லாம் not at all an asset. Okay. Advance tax, unamortized assets or fictitious assets will not be taken. External liabilities will only be taken. Only external liabilities will be taken. Where have we studied this? External liability. Overall, in the Mari methodology. Beautiful. Slum sales. Fair market value 1 or fair market value 2. Whichever. So there we studied how to value that fair market value of incoming assets. Okay. A quick look at this, please. Quick look at it. Accumulated income. Because tax is already paid. Only when the registration is granted, you can claim exemption. Otherwise, tax is paid. Question number 32. Okay, I will do the registration questions after this. Okay, GVB Charitable Trust engaged in the activities of running a charitable hospital and medical college for 8 years, has merged with a corporate hospital. Okay. The said corporate hospital is not eligible for 12AA, the position of assets and liabilities on the date of merger. Shares and securities held by the trust acquired out of agricultural income. Exempt. Book value of quoted shares, market value of quoted shares. Whichever is higher, market value, FMV, only for land. Book value of land and building. Value of land and building as per the registered valuer as per stamp value. The trust holds 40% shares in an unlisted company, and the financial position of the unlisted company is book value of asset, fair market value of immovable asset, reserves and surplus, provision for taxation, equity capital of that company. Liabilities. Liabilities in respect of shares and securities. இதை minus பண்ணுவோமா? Is it allowed?
Only external liabilities.
Raja?
Only external liabilities.
Yeah, external liabilities. I will go back and make you understand. Shares and securities held by the trust acquired out of agricultural income. Is asset. Can I take the liability pertaining to that asset? No. I want you to understand the logic which we have been understanding right from the first. If it is not an income, expenses will not be allowed. If I have not taken it as an income, expenses will not be allowed. Similarly, if I have not considered it as an asset, liability will not be allowed. Okay. Bank liability for quoted shares allowed. Advance tax paid is never. Income tax is never both asset and liability. Compare the tax. It should be computed. The tax liability, if any, arising out of the above measure, giving explanation for treatment of each item for relevant. Assume the trust has no tax liability from other activities undertaken. Even though they don't have any other tax, this is known as additional income tax. This is payable. Number one. 3 times so far. Same question with a different amount has repeated 3 times. The probability of repeating is less because of so many amendments, but we cannot ignore this area. Computation of accreted income. You remember the subsection? Fine. Otherwise, 115 also okay. Because it's around 8:15 only, you lose the normally the online students lose the connection that time. So just shares and securities acquired out of agricultural income, not an asset. So there will not be, I will not take it. It is not an asset. Average market value of quoted investments average market value of quoted investments, okay, 40 lakhs. Immovable property, fair market value or stamp value, whichever is higher. In the 110%, there's nothing like that. Whichever is higher. So 40 is registered value as the 38. So whichever is higher, 40 lakhs. Value of unquoted shares. Look at this. Their assets. Book value of assets of investee company. In the company in which I have invested, 25 lakhs. FMV of immovable assets, 45 lakhs. Less. Reserves is not an external liability. Provision for tax is not an external liability. Provision for tax is an external liability but not allowed. Paid up capital not allowed. Less liabilities. Net worth of the company. Net worth of the company 70 lakhs. How much percentage I am holding? What percentage I am holding? 40% of net worth. Mm. 40% of net worth, 1 crore 8 lakhs. Sorry, 40% of net worth 28 lakhs. Total gross assets 1 crore 8 lakhs. Less external liabilities. Liabilities on unlisted shares, and this is the one. Okay. Shares and securities held by the trust. Okay. So for unlisted shares and security, liability on unlisted shares and securities, liability on shares and securities not considered. Since asset is not taken, liability pertaining to such asset cannot be considered. Asset not taken, the liability pertaining to such asset cannot be taken. Bank liability 15 lakhs. Provision for taxation, not a recognized liability. Net assets or accreted income. how they got 34.944 now. Base rate 30, surcharge வந்து இதோடைய 12 percentage. Okay, so you will get 33.6. இதில் HEC 4 percentage, so you will get 34.944. But இது MMR கிடையாது, but they use the word MMR there. And I don't know why surcharge is 12%. That's why yesterday I was very sure it was 12%. Then only I referred it is not 12%. Supporting a girl child. A charitable trust is registered. On 1/4/21, it got merged with a private limited company engaged in manufacturing. All the assets and liabilities of the erstwhile trust became the assets and liabilities of the company, which is not entitled for registration. The trust appointed a registered valuation for its assets and liabilities from the following, including the valuation report. Calculate the tax liability in the hands of the trust. Stamp duty of the land. However, if the land is sold in the open market, it will fetch. The book value is 20 lakhs. 75 lakh equity shares of a company which is quoted in Bombay Stock Exchange, the lowest and the highest price. The book value is 67 lakhs. 55,000 preference shares of a company. The shares will fetch 44 lakhs if they are sold in the open market. Corpus fund is not an outside liability. It's not an external liability. Outside liability, provision for taxation, liability in respect of payment of utility bills, outstanding expenses. Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead. This is the answer I'm getting.
Sir, land என்ன பண்ணும்?
புரியல உன்னுடைய question.
Sir, land 15 lakhs.
17, right?
17. Oh.
You cannot take any asset book value. You have to take fair market value, and
Okay.
in some cases, immovable properties, fair market value or stamp value, whichever is.
Sir, got it, sir. And I had taken corpus fund also.
As liability. No, only external liability should be taken.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Sudha. Next question I'm not doing. We'll just review it. The same, it's a merger. Land in Surat, stamp value or FMV, whichever is higher. Don't see the book value for Baroda. So it will be 46 and 1 crore 5 lakhs. Shares, quoted shares. Okay, 3,000 quoted shares. I will not look into purchase price and all. Highest rate, lowest rate. I will take the average as 265 into 3,000. Okay, preference shares, 1,800 preference shares, directly the market value. Okay, liability, corpus fund should not be taken, provision for taxation should not be taken. Book value of liabilities rupees 112, including these three. So you should minus these three so that you will get the external liability. Okay, these are all the three times this question has come. It will be a straightforward question, but since there is an amendment in slump sales, which is also the same nature, they might not have two questions of similar nature in the paper. And that too when there are more amendments in trust. Not that I'm not asking you to not read it. I'm just asking you ஒரு brush through பண்ணா போதும் exit tax. Okay, from the examination perspective, because you would have done the same thing in slump sales. Okay, right. Going back to some questions on registration, on administrative procedures. Question number 25. A public trust is to be created for charitable purpose in April 21. The trust intends to claim the benefit of 11 and 12, that is exemption for that assessment year or previous year 21-22. What is the time limit for making of application, time limit for granting of approval by the commissioner or principal, and the period for which the approval is valid? So if this is what I feel will be the question this time, you should write both the provisional registration and final registration. Okay, where the trust has first provisional registration, you can apply within 1 month and they will give it to you within 1 month. Final registration, 6 months from the month of commencement of, because here it will not be end of 6 years because it is in the same year. Majority of the trust, like private limited company, there is nothing called commencement of business. They will immediately start their activity. So within 6 months of grant of provisional registration, make the final. For that, the commissioner might take 6 months. For that, the commissioner might take 6 months. Okay, he can call for. But even if he is going to grant it late, it is valid from financial year 21-22. Okay, right? It is valid from financial year 21-22. I will put the answer later in the Excel sheet. Since you are understanding, I'm not wasting the time of writing a detailed answer. Okay. Help all trust. Help all. A trust created for providing relief to the poor applied for registration under 12AB on 28th Feb 2022. The commissioner denied registration on the ground that the trust has not commenced any charitable activity, due to which he could not satisfy himself about the genuineness of the trust. Is the denial valid? No. Provisional registration has to be granted. Provisional registration, for that there is no inquiry. For that there is no, only for final registration we saw genuineness of the object. Okay, etc. So provisional registration has to be granted in the current year. You cannot deny the provisional registration. Commissioner has to grant provisional registration. Yes, sir. No, 28th Feb they are applying. Next question. Next question I will come. Can a trust created in April 21 filed their application as per section on 11.2 claim benefit for assessment year 22-23? Will your answer be different if I have filed on 15th March 22? Yeah, you know, understood? Sir, registration has to be filed at least 1 month before the end of the year, before 28th February or 29th February. It's clear. In that year itself, you can claim the exemption. For 21-22, if I need exemption, file before 28th Feb on or before 28th Feb 2022. Whenever he grants it, you can claim exemption for 21-22 itself. But if you have filed it on 15th March 22, even if he is granting the exemption, you cannot claim it for 21-22 because you have not filed within 1 month. Please write a gist of your answer, but anyhow, I'll give you answer for all these things. I just want you to understand. Solta Raja. You're not clear? Yeah, Raja. In the first year, okay? No, I'm not writing the answer. I'm just explaining you. For claiming exemption, registration has to be applied within 1 month from the end of the financial year. Before 1 month. Okay? 31st March is the end of the financial year. So apply on or before 28th Feb so that in that year itself you can claim. Granting a Purnarkla. Suppose if you apply after on 1st March, from the year of granting only you can claim it. Because granting 6 months, you cannot make it in the year of application. Whatever may be, apply has to be made within, yeah. Even if you apply in March, even if it is provisional, they will only give you grant in April. 1 month from the end of the month in which application is made. Raja? அது எனக்கு தெரியல ஜிஎஸ்டி எனக்கு தெரியாது நான் ஜிஎஸ்டி பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ணவே இல்லடா ராஜா ஜிஎஸ்டி வந்ததுல இருந்து both government and me are not clear. Simple law அப்படின்னு தான் அதை முதல்ல இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணாங்க. We are reducing complications. The GST was introduced to reduce complication, to make it simple, user friendly. The mobile and the computer and the user friendly apps பார்த்திருக்கேன். எல்லா permission allow பண்ணாதான் அது user friendly. I will access your photo, I will access your contact list, I will access your such and such. Yeah, if so, I am a user friendly app. Twenty-eighth question. A charitable trust whose income can be exempt under 11 of the Income Tax Act was formed on 1st April. For the accounting year ended, it had 5,60,000 as income. It filed with the Commissioner of Income Tax an application for registration on 30th March 22, explaining that for good and sufficient reason, it was prevented from filing the application before 28th Feb. This is Commissioner's discretion. Okay. By which date the application or registration should have been filed? 28th Feb. So that for that year itself you can arrive. Whether such an application could have been filed before the formation of the trust. Before the formation of the trust. When the entity itself is not there, how you can file? No, it is not possible. No, it is not. Only after incorporation, within 1 month you can file. But before formation, you cannot file. In the absence of an order of registration from the commissioner, can the trust deemed to be registered? The answer is yes. 6 months time, 1 month time. 1 month kulla time communication varla. 6 deemed to be registered. Where there is no communication within the time limit, absence of communication is always positive. Assessment order, I mean assessment இது வரலனா notice வரலனா assessment notice வரலனா உங்களுடைய acknowledgement தான் assessment order. Where there is no communication, your assessment is completed. Okay, in a week's time we'll come to those classes. Okay, return file பண்ணிட்டு 6 மாசம் பூஜை பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கணும். ஓகே, அந்த 6 monthsக்குள்ள உங்களுக்கு நோட்டீஸ் வரலன்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் பூஜையை விட்டுருவோம், அடுத்த வருஷத்துக்கு பண்ணும். பட் assessment, so wherever there is no communication, it should be absence of communication is always positive, so you can deem it to be registered. Okay, for genuine reasons. He cannot say I have denied registration. You have not communicated, so it is only positive. இது கேஸ் லாஸ்லாம் இருந்தது முன்னாடி, இப்ப லால இல்ல, இப்ப லாலியே கொண்டுட்டாங்க. இதுக்கெல்லாம் மீனாட்சி அம்மாள் என்டோமென்ட் ட்ரஸ்ட்னு ஒரு கேஸ். Well, they said within 6 months, if you have not communicated, you are deemed to be registered. Step taken by the trust secure exemption, application has to be presented, and within 6 months after provisional, okay, you need to. Whether a certificate of registration once granted can be cancelled, yes. You have to write the most important point, compliance with other law, for both these questions. Okay, the important answer is compliance with other laws, not only our income tax law. 85% utilized adhanala, but if you are complying with other law, complying with other law is 2 types. At the time of registration, commissioner can check. Once registered, now the other law has taken an action against you. If you have not disputed that, if you have not gone on an appeal against that, then you can claim it. If you have gone for an appeal, then you cannot cancel. When you can cancel, if you have not gone on for an appeal. Ramji Charitable Trust has filed a return of income within the stipulated time and applied 50% of its income for specified purpose. It intends to accumulate 35% of the income for future years. While completing the assessment, AO disallowed the accumulated income of 35% and taxed it on the ground that the trust has not made any application under section 11(2) along with the under section 10 along with the return of income. The AO's action is valid. Form 10 illena, now you cannot do anything. Without form 10, you cannot do anything. So AO's action is valid. Assessee should have filed a form. That form will be automatically approved is different. But there is an approval mechanism they have. So otherwise it is not valid. A charitable institution registered under 12A filed in form number 10 for seeking permission for accumulating the unaccumulated income for the object of the institution and submitted to the assessing officer. The AO found that the object for which accumulation is sought is were not particularized. Okay, as much as they covered the entire range of object, can the AO deny? No. This is a case law judgment. Okay, actually, in my opinion, they can deny, but in that case, the object need not be particularized. The object need not be particularized. Okay, it can even be general in nature. If you present the form, that is sufficient. Okay, is what they said. Advancement of general public utility na என்னது? No, no, அது okay. General public utility na I asked you to remember even a section of the public, okay, rural reconstruction and upliftment of masses through cottage industry. Yes, you can apply under trust. Welfare of industrial workers, you can apply it as a trust. These will also come under charitable purpose. Sometimes it will even come under relief for poor. Okay, okay. Take a look at the questions once if you are not clear about any question. But anyhow, I will give the answers. Don't worry. Provisional registration should be granted. No, sir. After 28th February means from the trust perspective, you cannot get exemption in the year in which you have applied. மார்ச்ல அப்ளை பண்ணிருந்தோம். நெக்ஸ்ட் இயர்ல இருந்து எடுத்துக்கோ. அவ்வளவுதான். Is it clear? Is it clear? Shall we move on? Shall we move on, my dear friends? Okay, right. The last part of our discussion of this chapter goes to political parties and electoral trust. Okay, goes to political parties and electoral trust. Okay, rarest of the question. Okay, but anyhow, exemption for political parties. What are all the income exempt? Voluntary contribution, income from property. Okay. Business income is taxable. Anyhow, உங்களுக்கு salaries ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. So, IHP exempt, IFOS exempt, capital gains. இது மூணுமே property based. Okay. So, business income is taxable. Voluntary contribution in excess of rupees 2000 received through unapproved modes is taxable. பத்து வருஷமா இருக்கு. இவங்கெல்லாம் mandatorily to be filing their returns. They are all mandatorily to be filing their returns. Recently, I heard 1516 oda return file பண்ணிட்டாங்க. Okay. நான் போய் சொல்லப்பா. Okay. That's the speed in which they do. Okay. Electoral trust. You know what it is? That is, they collect fund and give it to the political party. The political party will never know who is the contributor. The political party will, the fund will know, but the political party will never know who is the contributor. So, Raja? Sir, நான் அதை பத்தி பேசினேன்னா அவ்வளவுதான் சார். Section 8 company. Okay, it should be a Section 8 company. That is organization not existing for party. The name should have electoral trust. Okay, so object should be to collect money and distribute to political party. They need to maintain all records. Who is the donor? Okay, right? Which is in the hands of government. So who will not know? Abdina, you and me will not know. All others will know. Okay, the electoral trust. Okay, the same procedures. Okay, don't even look at it. Only once there was a question when the section was introduced. Don't even look at these things. Okay, but ரொம்ப நாளா எல்லாரும் எங்கிட்ட எலக்ட்ரல் ட்ரஸ்ட் இல்ல நம்ம மெட்டீரியல்ல நாங்க வெச்சுங்கோன்னு எழுதிட்டேன். Okay, so electoral trust should distribute 95% of the amount received to the political parties, 5% for their administrative. Okay, the electoral trust should not accept anything without the PAN. Only the political party will not know. Okay, right? Question number 35. A political party duly registered under the Representation of People Act received 125 as rent for letting out of their building, not taxable. Exempt. Okay, it is not taxable. IHP not taxable, IFOS not taxable, capital gains not taxable. But I'll answer the next question. Question number 36. The books of accounts of Makkal Katchi, a national political party registered with the Election Commission for the year ended, discloses the following: rent of property, interest on deposit other than bank deposit, cash contribution from 100 persons who have not given their name of rupees 3,000 each, taxable. Contribution of 1100 from members by check, not taxable. Net profit from cafeteria, taxable. It's a business. Compute the total income. Explain the context of whether the income derived during the year ended in the following cases shall be subject to. Okay, it should be top and then it will be. Cut paste பண்ணும்போது தப்பா பண்ணிட்டேன். இதுதான் முதல்ல இருக்கணும். ஓகே, இது கீழே வந்தது. $6 lakhs. Oh, 6 lakhs, huh? 3 plus. Okay. Do you know the income of political parties? 2,400 crores, not lakhs. Huh? ஆமா நிஜமாப்பா ரொம்ப பெரிய இதுப்பா அது.
சார்
சொல்லுங்க.
இந்தியாலயே பாவப்பட்ட கிளாஸ் இந்த salaried கிளாஸ் தான் சார்.
Yeah, class, salaried class, I accept it. The most forced honesty, salaried class. Forced honesty. You don't have an option but to be honest. Because your employer is penalized. Okay, so taxable at normal rates, slab rates. AJI, they are also artificial juristic persons. Majority of it they are registered as AOP and the Mari. This is the only thing. An electoral trust approved by the CBDT is not liable to income tax in respect of others. Examining the correctness, it is correct. 95% should be distributed. They should maintain books and they should submit their returns. Okay, in that case. Okay, is not liable to income tax, which means it is exempt.
In excess of 2,000.
Yes, you can, but they cannot accept itself. They want the electoral trust. Okay, they will only take the pan. They will only receive by cross the check, and so they are having their own norms. Okay, this is the only time that question came. So in I am you should spend less than 5 minutes in the political party and the electoral trust. Okay, let's get into examination mode and understand that these are not important areas, and you can remember it if at all there is a question from it. It generalized answers now. Okay, when there are so much of areas, trust is there. Trust is the most important. 6 to 8 months for be it in May or November, trust you can expect. Okay, so I told you when I completed our assessment of companies, I completed 50% of the question paper. Now 55 to 60% of the question paper. Okay, now all of us listen. What goes next? How our class goes next, I want to tell you. Next few classes are, tomorrow we'll have for 1 hour assessment of cooperative society, and then go for assessment of individuals. I'm very honest in saying, very rare question. Salaries மொத்தமே 70 marks தான். Assessment of companies, firms, charitable trust, capital gains, amendments. The salaries but we will definitely have a good idea about assessment of individuals, because the next biggest questionable area is TDS and advance tax. Sure question. TDS is a sure short question. TCS with the amended law, it's a sure short question. And assessment procedure, which is about, so all these things, next few classes, 15 marks we are going to study for the remaining areas. All these things put together, 15 marks. That's the importance they can get, because that is what is available. Okay. Again, in assessment procedure, there is a new principle which can be a questionable area. Okay. And then we will go to international taxation. Today we are Tuesday. Up to Saturday, it will be assessment of individuals. Sunday, if we sit long and complete, we can complete TDS and advance tax. Next week, we will allocate for assessment procedure. Subsequent week for international taxation. Some 35 hours of international taxation is what is being planned. By that, we will be able to complete. With regard to test program, I have a plan of action. Leave it to me. I have a very clear plan of action with regard to your test program. It will be as interesting and as simple as you learn the tax. Okay, it will be a continuous evaluation, and it will be I have a plan for your test program also. Okay, and other things as the class goes by, I'll tell you. Meet you again tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock to continue, or 6:15. We'll keep till this rainwater gets, because I'm unable to come out unless there is some. So 6:15 we will keep it. Okay, and we'll meet and start with cooperative society, then go for assessment of individuals. All the best.
Thank you, sir.